guys. My shoulder is much better, but Pete and Jade are much better, but chicken nuggets are much better than pizza.
Pizza? Anyway, what are you eating? Little cereal and toast?
No, I was up.
Say good morning, everyone.
Good morning. My mom, Baba and Daddy are still sleeping.
Well, not Daddy, Bubba and Mama.
But I'm eating French toast and cereal with a bowl.
Alright guys, so yes, it is morning. It is Saturday morning. First thing I had to do, I had to get up kind of early today, guys, because I am slow cooking a pork shoulder, a Boston butt. We are making pulled pork tonight. That's about a 9.5 hour cook. So, this is what I started. There's our shoulder, about 8.5 pounds. I just did a dry rub, I mixed up a tablespoon of brown sugar, tablespoon of sweet paprika, tablespoon of coarse salt, a tablespoon of chili powder, mixed that all together, rubbed it on, letting that sit for about an hour. Got the coals going. We're going to get this thing on. We're going to cook it for about 250 to 275, the temperature. And like I said, it's about 9 hours, so it's going to be a long day for it in the cooker. And while that's cooking, we have other projects to do. Let's get some important stuff done though.
Mommy doesn't have work, but I don't have school, and Daddy doesn't have work.
Woohoo!
But Bubba always goes to the gym when he's off today.
Take a big old bite of that. What time is it? 8:11. 8:11 in the morning, getting the barbecue going, man. It's way better than going to work. So what we're going to do, obviously, guys, is indirect cooking. So the heat will be on that side. The pork will be over here. Close it up. Make sure it stays about 250, 275. And again, like I said, 9 hours about. Internal temperature, I think we want about 195, I believe it said. So we're going to get this thing on. Alright, so the charcoal's ready. I'm going to put a chunk of hickory in there. Just like that. Put the meat on. Let it roll.
Let it roll. Whoa.
Look at how beautiful that looks. Isn't that pretty?
That's humongous.
It is. It's a big one.
How is it growing humongous? Why is it growing like that? How does it grow like that?
That'll be good, just like that.
Hey, I need to start to growing up on chili.
There we go.
On chili, Dad.
Think they're coming in for the barbecue? I doubt it. Okay guys, so while I am barbecuing right here out front by the garage, I need to clean this area up. I need some space in here because I have to make some pallet bars for a wedding. So, this is going to be one of my projects today. Getting this cleaned up, maybe scooting the table saw all the way over. That way I have some room to work on them pallet bars, which will be a cool video too. So anyway, I'm going to get to work. While this is cooking, it smells amazing already, guys. Talk to you in a little bit. Alright, it's been about 2.5 hours. I used a generic little bag of charcoal and it burnt out pretty quick. So now I'm getting a round of the Kingsford going. We'll add that into the barbecue here pretty soon. Right now the temp is running a little low. It's like 240, 242. So we need to get some new heat in there. Alright guys, look at the progress I made. Look at this. Put that big piece of plywood back there, scooted everything over, cleaned up a little, cleaned off my table, cleaned out the workout area. Oh yeah. Some floor space. Isn't that awesome? Got to clean them mirrors. They're looking nasty. Update on this is it is 11:42, so 9:30, 10:30. It's been on for 3 hours. Let's just take a quick look. Oh Lord, looking yummy. Can you see the chickens, anyone? Let's try and call them and see if they're stashed back there. Haha, there they come. They love hiding out in there. My little dinosaur birds. Hi girls. I'm sorry, you can go lay back in there. Now that is a clean mirror. Oh yes. Alright guys, well it's 4:30, so that's 8 hours. So I'm hoping this is the last hour. We're going to turn the meat around to where the heat point is on the other side. Add a couple of charcoals and just kind of baste it with a little apple cider vinegar and apple juice. Oh, look at that. Looking good. Oh boy, that's tender. That is tender. Nice. Check out the juices on this thing, guys. Oh, that is a nice piece of meat right there. Alright. Close it up. Okay guys, we hit the magic number, 190 to 195 internal temp. It's not quite 9 hours, but it is a little bit smaller. The directions were 9 hours for a 9-pounder. This is 8.5, so it's done. Now it's time to wrap it. Okay, so once it reaches the 195 temp, now you want to wrap it real tight with aluminum foil for about an hour, and that'll just get them internal sinew and stuff really melting down. Look at that. Okay, so the pulled pork is wrapped in aluminum foil for an hour to tenderize. Now I'm making a red sauce. It is a cup of apple cider vinegar, a cup of ketchup, a tablespoon of red pepper flakes if you want, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, is that what how you say it? Quarter cup of brown sugar, and a teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to let that simmer for about 5 minutes. Then after we pull the pork out and we shred it, we're going to add a little bit to there, but then you can top your sandwiches off with it. While we were out there barbecuing that, Christine made homemade coleslaw to top the sandwiches. So it's going to be awesome, guys. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see. I just washed my hands. The fat cap here we're going to take off. Wow. Grab me a little fork real quick, babe, just so I could show everyone how it shreds, and then we'll just knock it out. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Shredding like nothing. Nice. We're going to shred this up, and then we'll add a little bit of that red sauce.
Oh, we need a pan to put this stuff in. Grab that glass one.
That meat just came right off that bone. Beautiful, just shredding up, awesome. Now we're gonna pour some of that red sauce on it. Ooh, look at that bark. Oh my goodness.
Look at the juice dripping off.
Goodbye. Alright, so an 8.5 pound shoulder. That gave us quite a bit of pulled pork. Now let's get some of that red sauce on it.
Food porn.
Oh boy. Alright guys, so here is a little sequel to the red sauce I tried. The cup of apple cider vinegar, a cup of brown sugar, yada yada. It was way too vinegary. So we ditched that. We did some sticky fingers, sweet southern heat with some of the drippings out of the drip pan. We're warming that up. That's going to be a nice layer on top of those sandwiches. But the meat is on point. That was a great recipe there, a great cook. 9 hours. It was, actually it was about 8 hours. An 8.5 pound shoulder. Try and keep it around 250, 275. I went up to 300 a few times, but it all worked out great. Very moist. Alright, so that was my day today, guys. Just hung out. Slow cooked that pork shoulder. I'm telling you, that cook time worked. It was perfect. Tenderness, you do whatever ingredients you want, but the tenderness and all that stuff, that cook time worked great. And also cleaned up the garage, got a lot more floor back, which is awesome. So I'll get back with you tomorrow morning, and we're going to do some work out in the garden tomorrow morning. So we'll see you then. I'm going to eat another sandwich. Oh, and the homemade coleslaw was on point. Hey everyone, Rich at Rivera Urban Homestead. Good morning. It's 8:30 Sunday morning. It's about 41 degrees out. It's very chilly. I'm just sitting in the garage figuring out what to plant in that raised bed. I'm looking at my Mother Earth news app that I have. It's called When to Plant. Truck going by, hold on. When to Plant is what it's called. You just put your zip code in, it kind of configures your zone and gives you recommendations on what to plant each month and everything like that. So let me bring you in, I'll show you what I'm thinking. Here's that app I was telling you about, When to Plant. Just push that. And then you have all plants, favorites, plant now, plant by month. I like looking at plants by month. And then you could just go into January. And then it'll just start listing the plants. Green means you can plant them right out direct. Orange is harvest, and if you see like blue, that means to start indoors. So really cool app. Just gives you all kinds of ideas. So some of the recommendations that came up for me right now is the kales, the lettuces still, the bok choys. I do want to get a little bit more kale going, so I'm going to probably sow in the salad bed more kale seeds. And then I might do the Brunswick cabbage. Remember we did that a couple seasons ago and we got great heads of cabbage and it made great coleslaw. And then also I still have leftover onions, the Hishido bunching onions that I always plant, and also some red Creole. I never really had much luck yet, but we're going to try it again. So onions, cabbage, oh, and just a couple of oddballs. This would be new for me. This is hybrid Harrier beets. I've never planted beets before, so if anyone has any recommendations or have some experience with beets, leave the comments below and let me know how to do it, if there's any secrets to it. And also I just found this thing of peas. Why not? We'll try and throw some peas in the ground. So I think that's what I'm going to plant, but first thing we got to do is amend that raised bed. And this is the amendments I'm going to add to the raised bed. It's basically just what I had around here. Some kelp meal, Nature's Care organic and natural raised bed plant food granular. We got some bone meal. Got some garden lime. I don't have any blood meal for nitrogen, but we're going to go grab a 5-gallon bucket of the chicken compost in the chicken run, and I think that should do good. Alright, so I got the 5-gallon bucket of the chicken compost. We're going to put that in, and remember, we put all that compost that I made out of the plant vegetation on that last week. So now we'll add the chicken compost, then I'll add my amendments, and then I'll just kind of stir it all in. Let's use the weasel claws to mix that in. Alright guys, so that's nice and mixed in now. What we're going to do is just cover it with wood chips. We're going to soak it all down really good and just let it sit for a week. Next weekend we'll plant it all out. Man, this is what it looks like on the surface. And right when you dig in, look at that. Beautiful, dark, composting wood chips. Alright. There we go. Wood chipped in, watered in. I even added, oh yeah, look at the radishes from last weekend that we planted. All coming up, and I put some wood chips in between the rows for them now. Yeah, so next weekend we'll plant out the rest of this garden bed. Right now we'll just let it sit, let it kind of mix and marry together. Then we'll just split apart some rows in the wood chips and plant right into it. So that'll be next weekend. Next thing we got to do today is mess with the tomatoes. We're going to just take a couple of the inner leaves out like we did with this one last week. We're going to give them some Epsom salt around the base, and then we're going to feed them with an organic fertilizer. You know, it's been cold, they've been kind of stressed, they have a lot of fruit on them. So I want to just make sure they're fed well and watered good. We'll give them some Epsom salt just to give them a little bit of magnesium. Tomatoes really like that. And speaking of the tomatoes, here's the one from last week that we really took out a lot of that fungus, remember? And let me tell you guys, it looks awesome. It looks amazing. And look it, we are going to do our first taste test. Yes, we are right now. It's on. Oh, the first tomato of the season. Look at that, pearly pink. That thing is big. That's a big cherry tomato. Pearly pink is what it's called. Very soft on the inside, like really soft. I thought it would be crisper. Mild flavor. Not really acidic. I kind of like it a little more, with a little more punch to it, but not bad. And we got plenty more on here. One thing real quick before we get to the tomatoes is I had to put fencing down because right away my cat was already looking at it like, ooh, look at this nice fresh litter box. So I had to fence it all in so the cats don't walk on it. The urban wildlife. Alright, so now I'm just going to trim a little bit. Look at what I just found. Can you see it? Let me get you in some better light. Look at that big old caterpillar on that leaf. Whoa. That's a big one. Just tucked in there, guys. That's why it's very important to always check your plants, especially tomatoes. They get the hornbill, you know, those tomato hornworms, and I don't know what this is. I've never seen one of these. See if the dinosaurs will like it. Where's the other one? Come here. Oh, they didn't see it. Here it is. That one got it. So that was pretty crazy. I'm glad I was checking the plants today. Alright, so I just went and got some regular old Publix Epsom salt. We're going to cut it open. It says about 1 teaspoon for every foot height of your plants. So I'm going to just say mine are 4 foot each and call it good. So we're going to do about 4 teaspoons. Just some nice Epsom salt. 4 teaspoons. 1, 2, 3. Alright, now we're just going to go sprinkle it around in the bed. I'm going to move some of the wood chips aside so it gets direct contact to the soil. Alright, so there's Epsom salt all around the base now. Now I want to feed it the organic fertilizer. I was just thinking, guys, I have this rain bucket over here that is still full of water. This bucket here, or this 35-gallon trash can, is full of rainwater. So let's just use this. Yep, so I just dunked that 5-gallon bucket into that rainwater system. That stuff's been in there for a while, so might as well use it. And then I'll add the organic fertilizer. You know, it's the 4 tablespoons per gallon. That's 5 gallons. So I'm going to add about a cup. That'll make it 16 tablespoons. Okay, so a quick assessment of what we did this morning. Added chicken compost to that. Filled it with the amendments, with the bone meal and the kelp meal and all that good stuff. Lime. Topped it off with some wood chips to just kind of sit there for a week. Put some wood chips over by the radishes. Epsom salted and organic fertilized the tomato plants. Give them a nice little boost of energy. And man, yeah, a lot of work done already, guys. And it is only 10:30. So I'm just going to kind of hang out for the rest of the day. Maybe we'll go to the park or something, but football starts at 1, so we'll be watching that for sure. Well, alright guys, there you go. Thanks for hanging out again this weekend. We did some good work this weekend. You know, we slow cooked that pork all day yesterday, 9 or 8 hours. That came out amazing. Great, great taste. The tenderness was, the pulled pork was on point. And while I was doing that, I cleaned out the garage. I have some floor space. It's nice. And again, y'all know what we did today. Fed the tomatoes, got that raised bed ready for next weekend. We'll plant out these seeds that I mentioned. And what else are we doing? I think that's about it. Now I got to go do laundry and get all the house stuff done before work tomorrow. So I appreciate you guys hanging out for the weekend, and I'm going to get ready to do the laundry and watch some football here in a little while. So we'll talk to you next week, guys. Hey, and leave me comments on anything that you guys want to see in any videos or anything like that. And also, I want to know if anyone is doing the chicken run composting like I've been doing. And if so, how is it working for you? Leave me comments. We'll talk to y'all later. We're having cocktails already this morning. Wow. Not really, it's a smoothie. I'm gonna go have more of this.